All right, so this is Halloween Ends. It's the third Halloween movie in this newest trilogy that started with that 2018 one. I think that was in 2018, and I really like that one. It's got some problems, and the dialogue's bad. The tonal shift between the comedy and some of the stuff. Some of the comedy just straight up takes away from the brutal kills in that movie. It's definitely got some issues and some bad acting too, but I still really like that one. Halloween Kills, I did not see that one until last night, and I did not like it at all, as other people haven't as well. It's too much of the people being like, Evil dies tonight. It's been 40 years and planning to do something, but never really doing anything until the end. Michael's immortal, apparently, so it doesn't really matter anyway. This whole thing with him and Laurie. And, once again, the acting and the dialogue is still pretty bad. It's even worse in that second one. Yeah, I didn't like that one at all, right? I didn't get to review it, but utter trash. Just in case you wanted a rating for it. So here's the third one, Halloween Ends, and it's directed by David Gordon Green, and it's divisive for an obvious reason, but I'll say how I feel about it in a second. So this other character, right, Corey, played by Rowan Campbell, he has a tragedy happen. Well, he causes the kid that he's babysitting to die. This is a year after the stuff that happened in 2018 and 2019, I believe, in the movie. And he's babysitting this kid, and a freak accident happens, and the kid ends up dead. So 4 years, I'm pretty sure it's 4 years, goes by, and the town, because of their paranoia about Michael, have really treated this kid bad, called him a monster, and bullied him and things like that. Bullied him publicly, just right in the street, Stephen King style. And so he's going through some things. Lori, once again played by Jamie Lee Curtis, uh, meets him and takes him to the hospital after he gets bullied, and he meets her granddaughter Allison, and they form a relationship. Um, he then gets bullied again, uh, and ends up in a place where Michael Myers turns out to be, where he's been hiding all this time. And they have an encounter, and he survives it. And through that, things go crazy with him after that, right? He goes psycho, and there's some things that have to do with him and Michael Myers and Laurie and Allison and things like that. But that's where the horror really starts to kick in. So I didn't like this movie. I think it's written badly. I think it's divisive for obvious reasons. It has nothing to do with Michael Myers for most of it until the end. But yeah, let's get to positives. Jamie Lee Curtis, once again, is great as Laurie. And she's probably one of the only likable characters in this movie. We'll get back to that. For the most part, the main characters here are acted pretty well. It's shot pretty good too. It has some creative shots here and there. Like there's a point where this guy in a studio gets killed, and he has like a painting of himself or like a drawing of himself behind him, laying down, and so the camera like pans down, and he's matching up with his drawing. It's not the most creative thing in the world, but it's okay. It's shot okay. It's a decent looking movie. But about on par, I think, with those other ones. I think those other ones were shot well too, if I remember right. And there's a final encounter between Laurie and Michael that we've been waiting for, and it's the best part of the movie. It's great. It's what you expected from the third movie of this trilogy. So it definitely has a finality to it that I really like. It doesn't keep it open ended or anything like that. Like, oh well, maybe if this is what makes money. No, no, no. This is the end, and I think the very very end was really strong. Also, the kills were pretty brutal and good. Some of them they didn't really show completely, so whatever. But the ones they really did show the brutality of it, somebody getting their tongue cut off or cut out, uh, you know, that was enjoyable. So the reason why the movie's so divisive is for obvious reasons, is that it's mostly about this Corey character. If you wanted to do a copycat Michael, and Michael's out there, or maybe he's dead or whatever. People think that Michael's back, but it's actually this other person that's been going through this, this that went through this experience, this traumatic thing in his life, and has been treated like shit since then, and so it's pushing him to essentially become a new Michael Myers. Whatever. If you want to do that, fine. But whatever the fuck they're doing in this, it's awful, right? And I'll spoil a little bit of it later, but it's terrible. This character gets bullied by teenagers, like seniors. They know who he is. They know he's older than them, but they keep referring to him as kid. It's written terribly. The dialogue is awful. They just asked him to buy them booze, so they know this guy is a grown man, right? Yeah, but they're still referring to him as kid and kicking his ass, right? They pushed him over. I think it was like a bridge or something. It just, it was lame. It was so lame. I was like, imagine getting bullied by teenagers. They're seniors, but whatever. Imagine being bullied, publicly bullied in the streets by teenagers when you're in your 20s. Like that doesn't even. I couldn't believe it. I was like, why couldn't you just make this, some frat bro, like people that he went to school with that are catching back up with him. Oh, you killed that kid. Why didn't you just do that? I mean, making them teenagers, that's really stupid. The romance between Corey and Allison, completely forced, and she's all over him. I mean, all over him. I mean, is insisting on texting him. I didn't even get to see, I didn't even know she had his number. Somehow she got it. Because he was saying, like, stay away from me. You don't want me. But she's adamant on inviting him to this Halloween party and things like that. She knows the town doesn't fuck with him like that, and it's just going to cause problems, which of course it did. She's willing to run away with him. She gets in arguments with her grandmother, Lori, over him. I don't know, man. I don't get it. His storyline I think is not that great anyway. It could have been interesting, but it's badly written anyway. But that whole romance, I think that's some of the worst of it. 'Cause I was like, why the fuck is she even dealing with this dude? you know, Everybody in this movie is an asshole so that you can set up them dying, right? Even the little boy at the beginning was an asshole. Once again, bad dialogue. He's like, oh, I don't want to pretend to be friends with this bitch boy babysitter. I was like, this kid is like in single digits. What are we talking about? And they did that with that 2018 one with that little black kid. I didn't like that then. I don't like it here. But there's a guy that comes out and he's like, hey, this is private property. And I'm thinking, okay, that's going to be the whole exchange. They're going to leave. But then he starts talking shit to the dude and then talking shit to Allison about her grandmother. And it's like, this stuff feels so forced. Like you're going out of your way to make the town as like mean as possible to this kid or mean as possible to Allison or whatever. So you can set up them dying and it can be satisfying. I mean, the kills are pretty cool, but you didn't need all that. Like I said, I'm not, this is where I'm going to start spoiling some stuff. Like I said, if you want to do a copycat thing, you could do it, and it would probably be pretty good potentially, depending on how you do it. But this whole bullshit where this guy survives Michael because I guess Michael sees serial killer in him, like or serial killer potential in him or whatever, and they start tag team killing people for some reason, and he's like manhandling Michael Myers and like stealing his mask away and all this other shit. Why the fuck would you ever do that? That's so stupid. Especially when you're still gonna pay off Michael Myers being the final villain still by the end of the movie anyway, and that character ends up being really nothing. He gets discarded like nothing. It feels completely pointless, and it's lame as shit and stupid anyway. It's just I don't understand, man. I don't get it. Why you would do this for this story? I mean, he really does like just get killed and he's like nothing. He gets because Michael Myers is I guess immortal until he's not, until you need him to die at the end of this movie. And then this other guy, when he puts on the mask and he's doing this stuff, he gets shot by Laurie and things like that, and he seems fine afterward. I'm like, okay, is he mortal now too, just because he had an encounter with Michael Myers or because he has the mask? But then Michael Myers comes in and just chokes him out and he kills him, or snaps his neck and kills him. It's like, my God, this is fucking stupid, man. I didn't think the actor that played Corey was all that great, Rowan Campbell. I didn't think he was all that great, right? He was supposed to be awkward, but it was a little bit too much. Like he was overdoing it, like even way early on before the little boy even dies. Uh, it's just, yeah, that's why it's divisive, right? Why would you have him manhandle Michael Myers like this? This is just, I'm watching it happen. I was like, what's going on, right? Why is Michael Myers so weird? Why is he hanging out in the sewers or whatever the fuck, or wherever he was at? Why? Why has he been doing that this whole time? I don't know, man. I don't know. I'm gonna give this utter trash. I think it's garbage. Looking at the other like third movies that have come out this year, we got Jurassic World 3, we had Fantastic Beasts 3, and this. This is definitely the worst of those because the story is just so stupid. I can't. You had Jurassic World where it's like it's a dinosaur movie, it's a dinosaur franchise, Jurassic Park, and we're gonna make the main plot hinge on some giant locust for no reason. And then there's this where it's like, well, we're clearly trying to see Michael Myers, and see the final, the final encounter, final confrontation between him and Laurie Strode. But you're gonna make it all about this other Corey character that hasn't even been in the movies up to this point, up to this time. It's just a really bad decision. What are these screenwriters doing? Right? I really don't know. I really don't know. But whatever. That's Halloween ends. At least it's over. And whatever. Like I said, I did like that final thing with Michael Myers and Laurie because that's what I wanted to watch in the first place. But whatever. That's it. Utter trash. That's my rating, and we're done.